Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Cult Movie Tuesday, right here on Night Owl Video. Today I'm talking about Saturn 3. If I'm trying to catch my breath, it's because it's desperately hot, and when I film, I close the window and turn the fan off, so it gets really warm in here really fast. So please excuse the humidity is getting intense. I don't know where you live, but here in Nova Scotia, it's getting, this week is supposed to get very hot, so. Today, though, on the Cult Movie Tuesday, we were talking about Saturn 3. Check this baby out. I paid a lot of money for this, actually, which was kind of crazy. I bought it at a local thrift store where I had some credit, so it kind of lessened the impact of this, but I have a feeling I paid like 30 bucks for this, which the store I do go to, sometimes they put higher prices on stuff that's not as common, and trust me, I've never seen this DVD while I've been out and about. I was kind of disgusted when I was doing the research for this review to discover that this has, I think it has a Scream Factory Blu-ray, which is like $15 or something. So anyway, yeah, I wanted to revisit this movie, so I paid the price, literally. Saturn 3 is a sci-fi thriller from the year 1980. It was directed by Stanley Donen, who did a bunch of movies that I don't know in the 50s and 60s. He'd been around for quite some time, and I think this was a movie that was like near the end of his career as far as a director. This film is got a small cast, only 3 people, mainly speaking. There's some extras and stuff, but this is Farrah Fawcett, who was in Logan's Run, Cannonball Run, and of course she was on the TV show Charlie's Angels, which was a favorite of mine when I was a kid. This also stars Kirk Douglas, who was in The Fury, The Final Countdown, and he was a producer on like tons of movies, and of course starred in lots of other movies as well. And this also stars Harvey Keitel, who was in Mean Streets, Taxi Driver, Reservoir Dogs, and of course Bad Lieutenant. And I think I could be wrong, but I think this is maybe his first film, or one of his early ones anyway. I guess no, it wouldn't be his first because Taxi Driver was before that. And Mean Streets, of course. So no, but this was one of his earlier films. The synopsis for Saturn 3 is a couple of space station dwellers are menaced by a scientist and his amorous android. The robot is dismantled, but soon finds a way of putting his parts back in the right order and continuing his quest of terror. Yeah, the production on this, there's not a lot of production notes. This is an old movie and I think a fairly obscure movie. I don't hear a lot of people talk about this, but this through a British production made by Lou Grade's ITC Entertainment and shot at Shepperton Studios. The film has an American cast and director, so a British-American co-production. The budget for this film was $10 million, but it sadly only made $4.9 million at the box office. The project was based on an idea by John Barry, who was, I believe, the producer on this, if I'm not mistaken. John Barry. No, he wrote the story, sorry. Yeah, so the project was based on an idea by John Barry, one of the leading production designers of the 1970s, whose credits include A Clockwork Orange, the first Star Wars film, and Superman. So, Donen was making the B-movie spoof movie for Lou Grade and gave Grade a copy of the script to read. Grade read it while on a plane with Farrah Fawcett. He gave the script to Fawcett, who was interested, and Grade agreed to make the movie when the plane landed. So it was a pretty quick deal, I guess. The film was accused of being similar to Alien, but Donen pointed out Barry had the idea several years before the film came out. Though you could argue that Alien had been an idea for years before it was made. But the first choices for the lead were Sean Connery and Michael Caine, but they both apparently turned the film down. There was a lot of tension between Donen and the actors, specifically Keitel, who apparently didn't even do some of the voice work on some of the scenes. And if you watch the movie, and now this makes so much more sense to me, and I think I'll mention this in a minute again, but Keitel and the director didn't get along, allegedly, and so he didn't show up for like a bunch of voiceover work and stuff. So they actually had to get somebody else to do his voiceovers and stuff, his ADR. So I always found that really jarring when I watched this as a younger person, because his voice sounds like normal Harvey Keitel, but then all of a sudden it sounds like somebody else. But I didn't pick up on it. I thought like, oh, he must have had a cold or something when he was doing his voiceover, because I always thought it sounded so strange. It almost like it didn't match the his mouth or whatever. So that's what was going on behind the scenes. This film, Saturn III, currently holds a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. Film critic Roger Ebert gave the film 1 star in his review, criticizing its screenplay for having a quote-unquote shockingly low level of intelligence. My thoughts on this film, especially as I've gotten older, I realized that, oh, this is a movie I saw when I was probably like 14 or 15 years old, and I saw it on TV one day when I was homesick from school, and I thought it was great. Keep in mind when you're 14 or 15, your tastes and things are different from when you're 40 years older, but I instantly thought this was a cool movie. I taped it on the VCR. I think I actually recorded it the night before because I was starting to feel sick and I knew I'd probably have a sick day. So I recorded it off the TV and then I watched it when I was sick. And maybe it was like maybe I was in like some sort of haze from the sickness or something and thought it was better than it was. But I thought it was a fun movie to watch. Definitely a guilty pleasure for me. The acting's really bad. I'm not going to lie. Even Kirk Douglas is so wooden in this. But they were probably just doing the best they could with the script and what they had to work with. I mean, it wasn't like a low budget movie. I think it had, like I said, I think it had like a $10 million budget. So for that era, this was not like a cheap movie, but it looks cheap. And the robot in it, which I don't know if there's a picture of him. You can't really see it, but on the back, there's the robot there. He's like this real tall, skinny thing with like a little ball head. Like it's a cheesy design. I really don't like the design of the robot, but it's like a big budget movie that looks cheap, basically. Yeah, there are some, now that said, like the acting's not that good, the script is very weak. But there are some genuinely scary things in it, and like as bad as I think the robot design was, he actually is kind of creepy in a way. And I think it's that isolation, which is maybe where it gets the comparison to Alien, that it takes place on this space station and there's nobody else around. And it does have like kind of a creepy vibe to it, like sort of an isolated vibe. I hope sorry, my DVD came out of the holder. But yeah, I always knew there was just like a little something off with Harvey Keitel's voice, but now that I've done this research for this review, I understand why. So I think this was just kind of like a product of its production. I think I don't think anyone was too excited about it. I think it was probably trying to cash in on the space madness of the late 70s, early 80s, the science fiction boom of the cinema with Star Wars and Star Trek and Alien and all that stuff. And this was probably just kind of one of those like, what do we have lying around that we could make? It's got a robot in it, but it's not really for kids, but it's sort of cheesy for adults. So it's just a kind of a big mess. But I do have a soft spot for it, like I said, because I saw this at a younger age and I sort of thought it was cool. And I do sort of, I mean, I watch it now and I think, oh God, this is so bad. But I still do kind of enjoy it in a weird way. Just maybe it is just the cheesiness now, but I had never seen Harvey Keitel before I watched this movie. And of course, I consider him probably, one of my, I wouldn't say one of my favorite actors, but I do really appreciate his acting. And so going back and watching this, it was like, oh, he's so like wooden and uninteresting in this film. But I'm sure Farrah Fawcett was in here too, just because she was beautiful and she was popular at the time. Kirk Douglas was the kind of outlier here. I'm not sure what again, there were some other actors considered that were maybe a bit younger, but just a very strange movie. Yeah, because on the back it lists Farrah Fawcett as her only credit is Charlie's Angels. Kirk Douglas was also in Spartacus, so I guess this was a bit of a step down. Although it does say Harvey Keitel, Pulp Fiction, so clearly this is like a a later edition of this film. This is the 1999 Artisan Home Entertainment DVD. There's a really creepy scene there where Harvey Keitel gets the robot hand to get something out of Farrah Fawcett's eye, like she gets something caught in her eye. That part's kind of crazy and disturbing, but this is from it says it's actually from 1979. Color, it has a runtime of 90 minutes, so it probably could have been 85 or 80. This is rated R in Canada. This is also a co-release by Pioneer. Remember when Pioneer used to put out stuff? I think they did the Akira DVD, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, this movie, I don't know. Here's a look at the inside. It's just your basic. There's my, oh, you can see inside my closet. There's more of my movie collection. It comes with this, I guess it's a title card. There's an image of the robot actually that you can see a bit clearer. So yeah, it's got this like really impressive body, like it's like pretty muscular looking, and like, but then it has like this little pellet head, and it's just not good. Here's a seductive photo of Farrah Fawcett with your chapters list, and that's all that's in this. It's a pretty bare bones edition. I don't think it doesn't list any special features, so yeah, I think this is pretty bare bones. I'll probably get the Scream Factory one down the road, but yeah, the Scream Factory one came out in 2013, so you can currently, if you have a subscription in Canada on Amazon Prime as of the recording of this video, you can watch it on Amazon Prime apparently. It's also free on the Plex app if you have a smart TV, and you can also alternatively rent it on YouTube, Apple TV, and Google Play. So that's my thoughts on Saturn III from 1979, I guess, 1980. Let me know your thoughts on this film. Did you like this? Did you think this was just a big pile of poop? I'm sure, I mean, I'm a fan of this movie, and I'm sure there's others, but we're probably in the minority, I would say. This is, I don't even know. I guess this is like a B movie wrapped in a bigger budget. I can see here that somebody was selling it for $30, so I think, well, obviously this would be out of print, but like I said, you can still get the Blu-ray from Scream Factory, so if you really want to get a copy, you can do it that way. I think I did look it up on their website, and it's still available, so. But yeah, this one's long out of print, but anyway, let me know your thoughts on Saturn III in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you at the video store or the thrift store or just out and about somewhere, hopefully not on a space station with a killer robot chasing you. But until next time, take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.